Hello students, in this class we will study about the changing of colors, changing of fonts, dynamic contents in elements and stacking of elements by JavaScript in a web page. Changing of colors can be done very easily by making changes in the document's appropriate color property, that is background color or color. The properties are here is background color, which specifies background color of the text or element. Usually it is text element. So background color for that text, or it may be a particular paragraph, or even for it may be entire body of the element web document. And if you are using just color, it specifies the color of the text element in the document. If we specify this color property for the body element, then entire body text color will be same. Or if we apply this property for a particular paragraph, for example p tag, or for a particular section of the element web page, that is div tag, then only that portion will have the specified color. So color, it may be foreground color. Generally we call it as foreground color, but in writing script we will just write color. Observe that in this property while writing, C will be lowercase, whereas in background color the property, the name while writing the background color, C will be uppercase, that is it is following the JavaScript, that Java's naming convention. In the event handler, when we write the event handler for changing the color, we can write the statement like this, that is document dot body. That means we are specifying the color of the background for the body entire document, and its style body dot style dot background color equals name of the color as a string. Or we can also use RGB value, or we can specify the color value as an hexadecimal value. Here I am using simple method, that is name of the color. So W3C, that is World Wide Web Consortium, already given a big list of color names. Just by using that name we can change the color. I am just using only two. And also for the foreground color, I will change the property of the, that is color property of the text, body, and that is here is blue color. Let's go for example. Okay, this is the simple web page which demonstrates changing the foreground and background colors of a document. Here is a label, background color, foreground color, and the property for specifying this here is background for background color and color for foreground color. For the background I will specify red. Observe here is I have typed the name as a string. When I press tab key or when I click the mouse button in the next text box, immediately the color of the background is changed to red color. Likewise, if I type another value, for example for foreground color I will type the value, the name of the color, that is yellow, and just type tab key or bring the focus of the text box to some other element, then the color of the foreground will be changed. That means here foreground color means here is color of the text, color of the text. So foreground is applied. Let's go for the code. Say this is the HTML code for the shown page. It's very simple. In the body tag there is one paragraph, simple paragraph. And here is the within the forum there is a input tag, that is text, and a name is given, background. You can use name or id also. Size is specified, and the event attribute what we have used here is on change. On change means after typing, when it loads the focus, then the event handler will be executed. So on change event, the JavaScript event handler set color is called. Here set color is user defined, not a predefined. And for this I am sending two arguments. There are two arguments. One is here is name of the element. Next one is the value typed in that element. And observe here is this pointer observe reference. You are already familiar with this keyword. We have used this in Java programming language, and this refers to the same object, and here it is same HTML element. So this dot value means here is whatever the information typed within the text box will be sent to event handler. Similarly for foreground color, here is also one more text box, and here is set color on change event. Set color, that is here is the name of the element is sent as a string, that is foreground, and this dot value, whatever the value, that is whatever the name of the color we have typed in that text box, is passed to the function. So that is here is, and that is stored in the dynacolors.js. Let's open the file, JavaScript file. See here is very simple text. Here is code is very simple. In the set color, here it is where, that means where to apply it, whether it is for background or whether it is for foreground. And name of the color here is as a string here. And in the if statement, if where equals to the background string, then apply the color, whatever the color name passed here is, that is new color. If this is not equal to background, condition false, that means it is for foreground. And document dot body dot style dot color, that is after the else, will be executed. So care should be taken that once we have typed background color here, for foreground it is just color only, not the foreground color. So there is no style property name foreground color. It is understood that once it is color, that is for foreground only. So once again I will change the different color. I will refresh the page. You will get the default settings. Now background color black, foreground color is also black. Since background and foreground are all same, so we can't see any element. It doesn't mean that there is no text. There is text. We can select this. Observe that we can see the text in its inverted color styles. If I refresh this, I will get the original window. Similarly for red, foreground is also red, all are in red color. So since both are same color, so as a human being we can't differentiate these color, but we can select it. That means they are not hidden, they are not removed, but they are still there. So I will change the background color to yellow, and color name is wrongly typed, yellow, and foreground color is black. So this is for dynamic colors using JavaScript. Similarly, we can change the font of the text by modifying the style property related to font of the element. Usually it is applied to text element only. So there are several properties related to font, and I am covering only just three here is And since we can change this property both in CSS and JavaScript, we should be familiar with the writing the font names, property names in both style. For example, the font family written in CSS cascaded style sheets like this. The same properties mentioned like this font family. In CSS there is a hyphen and all color letters are in lowercase, whereas in JavaScript it follows the Java's standard. So words are joined arrays and second word onwards the first letter in the successive words are uppercase. Likewise, font size in CSS we will do like this, and in JavaScript we will write like this, and font style, and it is also font style. So while writing the text that is event handler in JavaScript, we should be careful about these writing style. So in CSS we have to write the font family like this, and in JavaScript we have to write the font family like this. So font family specifies the name of the font, and font size specifies the size of the text in pixels. That means height, actually it is height, and font style, the style of the text, that is bold, normal or italic. So in the example for in JavaScript, we will write the font family by specifying the name of the font, that is Arial. For document dot customer name, here customer name is a name of the one element. It may be text box or paragraph, any other thing that can embed or show some text, and that element style dot font family is initialized to Arial. Only the thing is we should be careful about that. Arial font should be available and installed in the client's system. If Arial font is not available in the client system or in our system where the web pages are being shown, then the browser will apply the default font as specified in the browser. Similarly, we can specify the size of the font. Observe here is size is specified 25 without any gap or space. Px is appended and this is given as a string. Here is, just erase it. And similarly, style of the font, that is strong, that is for bold, normal, italic, underline, that can be specified using these properties, that is changing fonts. Let's go for the example in web pages. Here is the simple one line. Observe that when I bring the mouse pointer on the line, we will not see any difference. But when I bring the mouse pointer above the word Karnataka, then change of font, color and size is applied, and when I move the mouse cursor away from the word, then it comes back to the original style. And these font settings are not applied to other words, it is applied only to the Karnataka word. So this is the effect of the changing fonts and color. I think it is the a topic already covered in your graded exercise 1, that is in the lab experiment. Now let's go for the code. Here is a paragraph with the setting, that is for class. It follows the definition specified in the regular text, that is specified as a reg text, and it is following the CSS font, and I'm specifying the font, that means combining the minimum many points, that is 16 pt in CSS, and name of the font specified here as Times New Roman, and word text This is another class name and this is applied to different one. That is here is Karnataka. Just for one word, observe that a span tag is covered. That means for this span, the class is word text, that is color blue. For the event on mouse over, this dot style dot color, observe here is in the expression I have taken it for entire element or one body of the document, but here is I am taking only for a single word. So on mouse over, this dot style dot color equals to right semicolon, and it's not completely closed, it continues the next line. This dot style dot font style equals italic. This dot style dot font size is equal to 24 point pt. So that is here in CSS. Similarly on mouse out, when I move the mouse pointer out of the text, then it comes back to blue color because of this code, and earlier it was on mouse over, it is changed to italic, but when the mouse out event occurred, then the font style will be normal. Likewise size will be comes back to the original size, that is 16 pt. So in CSS we have to use 16 pt, whereas in JavaScript we have to use 16 px. So once again I will go for the browser window, I will refresh it, observe that Karnataka, then it's here, changes are applied. So now I'll cover the topic, that is dynamic content. And usually the dynamic content is applied for modifying the existing content in the text box element or in a paragraph element or in the div tag, and it is very simple just by changing the value property of the element. And here is just one example is given in event handler. For any event handler, that is for any event, if this function is registered, so for example here is get element by id remarks, any element which can display some text in its place, and I've taken assuming that the name of the element here is remarks, dot value equals a string literal, that is passed. We can assign any string here is because all the values in a web page is string, so we have to convert it later. If you want to use it as a string value, then we can assign it directly, or if you want to extract the integer, then we have to go for different built-in functions in JavaScript. So whenever the event handler is invoked for any particular event is registered, here is change remarks, so it will be assigned with the text as that is passed. If for any other different type of events this function is registered, that is reset remarks, then that element's value will be changed to null string. That means I am erasing all the text, it will be assigned to null string. So I will go for the next example. It little bit a tricky one, even though we can go for very simple one, but I am using the specified example in the textbook because it is a very good example which covers many of the tricks that we have to use in our project development. So here is the example page for specifying the dynamic content in the text box. So before going to display the source code, I will display the program, web page within the browser directly. Here is a customer information, and there is one text area Here I will get some information about the information that is to be filled in the text boxes. See, this box provides advice on filling out the form on this page. Put the mouse cursor over any input field to get advice. That means here is whenever bring the mouse pointer above the text field, I will get some information within the same box. Now I will bring the mouse pointer and observe that when the mouse pointer is comes above the text field related to name field, I will get the information within the text box, that is your name must be in the form first name comma middle name, middle initial comma last name. When I move the mouse pointer away from this, I will get different one. Not different one, earlier default message. That means whatever the message shown earlier, the same is coming here. So that means if the mouse pointer is not above the any of the element, then I will get this default. Now I will bring the mouse pointer, the second field. Your email must have the forum user at domain. So how the information should be entered in the text box. Similarly, if I bring the mouse pointer above the user ID related text field, then I will get the information within the text box, that is your ID must have at least 6 characters. Similarly, for password, there is another information. Likewise, if I move the mouse pointer away from any of the element, I will get the default. So if I move the mouse pointer above any element, I will get the default text. Sorry, not default, the message related to the text box. If it is moves slightly away from the text box, then I will get the default message. So now I will go for the code. This is the code for JetShown program. Here is the forum, and I am using the span here. We can go for paragraph also. Both are can be used. And here is input type, that is name, customer information. On mouse over, I am passing the value 0 for the JavaScript function messages. And similarly, on mouse out, I will go for function invocation, that is messages with the parameter number 4. Likewise, for email related text field, on mouse over, I am calling the same message function, that is messages with the parameter 1. On mouse out, messages 4. Likewise, other text fields, on mouse over, messages 2, messages 4. That is mouse over, messages 2, mouse out, messages 4. Then finally, for password field, input type is password, messages 3 is for mouse over, messages out is messages 4. Sorry, on mouse out, messages 4. That means for all the text related elements, on mouse out is same. All the text elements including the password field, the method called here is messages with the same parameter value, that is number 4. Whereas for mouse over, it will be different, and they are not same for different elements. They are different, they are not same. So for mouse over, it is message 0 for the first field. Likewise for second one, it is 1. Likewise 2, 3 and 4. And there is one text area, that is advice box, and there is one default text. This box provides advice on filling out the form on this page. So this code, that is messages function, is stored in the JavaScript file, that is dynvalue.js. Let's open the file and here is the code. Observe that messages, then advice number, and there is just only one line of JavaScript code. Document.getElementID advice box. So what's the advice box here is? That is text area. Text area specified here is text area, that is ID advice box. For that I am specifying the value helpers advice number. Here is the very important point. Helpers is an array. It is array of strings and index value specified, that is nothing but advice number. So that means here is for on mouse over, on mouse out, I am calling the function messages and I am passing index value of an array from these functions. That is messages 4 is common for all mouse out, but for mouse over different array index value. So array index value is from this array. So variable helpers, it is an array of string. I already told this example is very typical one and you must know this, because in any programming language sometimes we need to display very long string, and due to the restriction in the editors and from in some languages we can't type very long string in one line, we have to split it. So some some editors will provide some method to split it so that compiler can understand it. So observe that here is a string, that is your name must be in the forum colon, and there is one backslash at the end of the line, and the line is continued to second line and it ends at comma. That means from this double quotes to the last matching double quote is one string, and that string is typed in two lines, continue to two line, and where the previous line is ends, there I am using a special character backslash. Even in C language and Java also this feature is supported. So we have in the initial programming days we have used very simple string, but here is a very very big string is here. So we split this string and continued the next part in the second line. So this is one string, and likewise here is one complete string in one line. This is the third string, and fourth one is continued it to second line, and the last one is continued to three lines. So backslash at the end of the line makes that string is continued to next line, and this array, that is array of strings, there I'm using advice number used as a index value. So if advice number is 0, that means helpers 0, that means the first string in the array helpers. So that first string is like this. So this string is assigned to get element by id, that is advice box dot value. So advice box here is the text area. In that text area, this value, the string specified from this array and its index value is assigned. So if mouse out on mouse out, if I call the function like this, messages 4, here 4 is the index value. So in the JavaScript file, helpers, here advice number is, that's the parameter, that will be 4, and in the line JavaScript line, it is helpers advice number, that 4, that is helpers 4, that is the last string, that is fourth one. So this is 0th element in the array, and this is second element, that is second string, and this is third string, and this is fourth string, and this is the fifth string. Since JavaScript array is similar to array of Java, that is 0 indexed, so first string is indexed by the value 0, so fifth one is indexed by the value 4. So helpers 4 means the last string in this array is assigned to the advice box. Similarly, if I specify messages 2 for element, that is messages 2, so in that second one, that is 0th element, first string, 0th string, first string, and second string, that is third one, is assigned to advice box. So I will refresh it. Now its initially existing content is shown, and when I move the mouse pointer above the text fields, I will get text according to the function execution. That means when I bring the mouse pointer here, messages and related index value is passed, and because of that the text area's content is changed. That means I am bringing the mouse pointer here, changes is applied in text area. Okay students, today I will conclude the topic here only. Thank you.